Thailand, Vietnam, Cambodia. The holy grail of backpacking. These three amazing countries are usually the stepping stones for those seeking adventure travel. All three are fun, cheap, and as crazy as each other. They offer everything from street food to epic parties and fascinating culture. So let's start off by looking at their geographical locations on Earth. So these three nations are of course all located in Southeast Asia and are neighbours to one another. These three countries are usually visited by backpackers who are doing what's known as the Golden Circle, a route which takes you pretty much in one big circle across these three amazing nations. The capital cities are Bangkok, Hanoi and Phnom Penh. All busy, crazy but magnificent cities. So now let's take a look at the demographics of these three nations, starting off with their populations. So let's start off with Egypt. Now of course, a high or low population isn't always a good or a bad thing. So instead we'll now take a look at their population densities. For me, the lower here is the winner. So to no surprise, Vietnam. Right, cool, let's now take a look at the average age of the population for these three nations. This one actually took me by surprise. So we'll start off with move on to the geography of these three crazy countries, starting off with their total surface area. By looking at Google Earth, this one is quite obvious. Three countries are quite oddly shaped. Thailand is wide in the north, but then becomes extremely narrow when you travel south of Bangkok. Cambodia is essentially a small circle, and then Vietnam is a long, coastal, narrow country. Okay, next let's take a look at what percentage of these three countries are covered by forests. Forests have a key role in removing pollutants and cleansing the air, and are habitats for incredible animals such as elephants. So let's take a look at how much coastline these three countries have. This is a statistic where all three of these countries are really lacking. South of Bangkok, Thailand is actually really narrow and only the east of the country is exposed to the coastline. On the west, it's actually Myanmar. Alright, let's now move on to some statistics and facts about their economies. Starting off with their GDP, the gross domestic product. This reflects the value and productivity of an economy. It measures the market value of all the final goods and services produced annually. GDP, let's now look at the GDP per capita. So this is calculated by dividing the total GDP by the population of the country. And finally for economy, let's finish off on a high note for Cambodia. Let's take a look at the quality of living for these three countries. Starting off with the obesity. Look at the percentage of their populations that are classed as being under the poverty line. So Thailand takes the win here with just 7.2%, followed just behind by Vietnam with 8%, and then Cambodia with a much higher 16%. Hopefully with the year-on-year growth of Cambodia's GDP, alongside them having a youthful nation, they can decrease this number over time. And finally, to finish off with quality of living, let's now take a look at how many hospital beds and physicians there are per 1,000 people in each of these three countries. So to no surprise, Cambodia has by far the lowest, with 0.8 and 0.17 respectively. Then we have Thailand with 2.1 and 0.81. And then finally, taking the win, we've got Vietnam with 2.6 and 0.82. So a close one between Thailand and Vietnam, but Vietnam just pips them for the win here. And now to end the video, let's compare their top 3 things to do in each country according to TripAdvisor. Now this one is completely subjective and depends on what your interests are. So if you disagree with us, then let us know why in the comment section below. So starting off with Thailand, we have I think Thailand's top 3 attractions, according to travelers on TripAdvisor, take the win here. What do you think? Let us know below. So now it's your turn. Let us know in the comment section below which one you'd live in, which one you'd visit, and which one you'd avoid, and why. We can't wait to read your comments. And while you're there, let us know which cities or countries we should do next. So I would personally live in Thailand because it's one of my favourite countries on earth. There's amazing parties, elephants, friendly people, and it's cheap but it's not run down. I'd visit Cambodia because I've never been there before, and I'd have to avoid Vietnam because I've already visited there before. However, I would love to go back. So thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, a like would be much appreciated, and if you loved the video, a sub to the channel would be marvellous. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.